Hello everybody and happy new year. Welcome back to the channel for the first video of 2024, and today we're going to be building a modern propeller close air support light for attack aircraft kind of deal. So if you think of the Super Tucano, that kind of a vibe, I guess. I wasn't hugely confident in this one, so hopefully I've done a decent job, and I hope you like the build in the end. I think it turned out quite nicely, but yeah, before we really talk about the plane too much, I just want to talk about the year gone and the year to come, because obviously that is kind of topical at the moment, and I'm not going to set any New Year's resolutions here for what I'm going to do with the channel, because things are unpredictable and it's going to be difficult, but rest assured it's not going anywhere. But if you would like a goal to work towards with me, we set a goal last year for 20,000 subscribers. Now, when I set that goal, we had just hit 10,000 subscribers, so that was double my subscribers in a year, and we hit it and we exceeded it. We hit 21,000 this last year, 2023, which was insane, for lack of a better word. I didn't expect us to actually succeed at that goal, but to exceed it by an extra 1,000 was seriously, like, crazy to me. And I'm going to sound like such a loser for saying that, but there you go. I've said it now, and so it's out there on the internet, and it can never be erased again, because that is the nature of these things. But regardless, it's been a great year. We've done a couple collaborations with some really cool YouTubers who you may have seen, mostly the Trailmakers content, and hopefully more of that to come, more games to come as well. We've had a few opportunities to play some early access games. We played a little bit of Kit Bash recently, which, well, the video didn't do very well, but there you go. And we also did a little bit of a game called the Brew Barons. Yep, there we go. I definitely didn't almost forget the name of the game, which actually, come to think of it, I have 2 keys to give away, so there will probably be a stream not too far in the distant future where I play through that game and I try and actually get some progress through the career, and in that we will be giving away the keys at some point during that stream. So once that's all organized, shouldn't be too far away, maybe very soon, maybe next weekend or something along those lines. But yeah, that should be good fun, and hopefully you guys will be able to get your hands on a couple of keys for that game. But for this year, more of the same, basically. I don't plan on particularly changing up the content a huge amount. I think what we've got going is a good thing. You guys seem to really enjoy the Flyout. We are still eagerly awaiting the internals update for Sprocket, but there will probably be 1 or 2 videos out before that update comes out on that game, and probably 1 or 2 other things we will see. I might try and get some more little collaborative things going, just because they're fun to do. They're not always the best in terms of viewership, but ultimately I want to enjoy my time here, not just feel like it's another job. So, you know, that's kind of the end of it, really. If I want to do it, I'll damn do it. But yeah, so as for goals, I think an achievable goal is it's going to be difficult, I think, to double the subscribers again, because frankly, last year we experienced a very big spike at one point in the middle of the year. We had a short that got over 1 million views, and that saw a huge amount of success in a very short space of time and kind of kicked a bunch of other videos into the algorithm as well. I don't foresee something that fortuitous happening to me again. Now, obviously, it kind of gets easier to grow as you get bigger simultaneously, so I don't want to just say 10,000 again, because I feel like we're underselling it. So I'm going to say 15,000 subscribers in a year is an achievable goal if I continue to pump out quality content that you guys are enjoying. Hopefully. That should be good. So that means that by the end of next year, we should have, and it's a little bit specific, but 36,000 subscribers. That's our goal. If we can reach that earlier, we will set another goal. We'll see. But yeah, from this day, we will be trying to hit, by the 1st of January 2025, we will be trying to hit 36,000 subscribers. So if you're not already subscribed, help me reach that goal. Hit that subscribe button. Share this video if you think anyone else you know would enjoy this kind of content. Give it a like, leave a comment, stuff like that. We're on that grind set now. And I need to overtake Yuzi. That's not happening. That's not happening. The man is a wizard. But regardless, the plane, yes. So, finally, we get on to the actual topic of the video. This is, what I'm doing right now is I'm actually painting it with Sci-Fi 2. So this is one of the materials that you can choose from when you're actually painting your materials on your plane. And I just think Sci-Fi 2 kind of looks like the metal that you would have on a modern plane. I find that the default metal texture is very rough and very unfinished. It's as if you haven't painted it. So obviously, this plane is just kind of grey and black. I haven't gone crazy with decals because I'm terrible at them, and I end up making everything look worse. I try, it just doesn't work out. So it's just kind of grey and black, but still, this metal looks a lot more finished than the other one, and that kind of just helps bring a plane together, I find. We're just going to be doing a normal tail plane on this thing, no all moving, because it turns well enough as it is. You'll see that in a bit. This thing is basically lighter than air at this point. There's very little weight going on. I mean, I say that, it's not that light. We actually have I've tried to simulate like an armored tub around the cockpit by leaving the fuselage and the cockpit glass with a slightly thicker fuselage thickness. So normally I'd set them to like 1 or 2. Here I think they're 10 or 12 millimeters thick, and that is all the way to the tail as well. So you can imagine around the cockpit would actually be thicker than that, is kind of my head canon for that one. We also have, as you saw me putting in a little bit earlier, just a tiny little jet engine crammed in between the propeller and the pilots there. Now, obviously, in this game, there's an exhaust on the back of that one. In real life, there wouldn't be. So I don't put it in this time lapse, but I do put it in eventually. There's some exhausts just behind the wings, so you can imagine that the exhaust gases from the engine are being dumped out of those 2 vents at the front and simultaneously 2 at the back. And then the rest of the power is being driven to the actual blades up at the front, which is going to provide the majority of our lift. That's how this thing drives, and I hope that it's not too unrealistic. I don't really know how this stuff actually works, so if you do and you don't think that this makes any sense at all, don't flame me too hard. It'll hurt my feelings. But yeah, we're pretty much getting there with the actual shape of the thing. There's a couple of refinements we do, and those kind of square armor panels I put on the side of the cockpit, I just decided looked bad, so I eventually take those off as well. It just didn't really fit the vibe of the plane, and I think they're going very shortly. And then we go with like a World War II-esque tricycle gear, which is maybe not tricycle gear, tail dragger gear, which is maybe not the most traditional for a plane like this, but I don't know, it felt right. But anyway, time to fly. Okay, so here we have our propeller fighter close air support thing. So we have a couple of things going on here. So we got a big drop tank under the center of the body here, with no rocket engines pointing at it this time, and we've got some big exhausts coming out of the turbine at the front of this thing. Probably should add some more, actually. But you know what? We'll deal with that at a later date, if I do deal with that, because you know what? I've started the recording now. We're going to finish it. Maybe not enough exhausts coming out of this turbine. Regardless, most of the power from that is being pushed to this propeller at the front, where we have a fairly small but high-bladed propeller, which is going to spin at some crazy RPMs. We also have a longer wing on the left-hand side. You can see it pretty clearly here in the editor, but once you're actually flying, it's not as obvious, so that counteracts the torque of the propeller just a little bit. We have these landing gear that currently don't fully retract into the hull. I might just try and fix that real quick before we do a test flight here. We have an asymmetrical air intake on the front, because why not? That's kind of fun. A couple of flares at the back, some stabilizer fins, and ordnance for 6 mounts on either wing. So hopefully this proves a pretty effective little thing. So I'm just going to make some quick mods. I want to make these landing gear go flush to the fuselage, and then we will fly this thing out. Okay, I've made a couple of tweaks, so we've now got these kind of underwing bits to just kind of hide the wheels when we're flying, and we also have these exhausts coming out the back here. Don't really know how the piping would work, but who cares? It looks cool. We're going to fly it. And hopefully it's not horrific to fly. Yeah. Okay, here we are on the runway, and this thing does have a bit of a difficult characteristic when it comes to taking off, which is, for some reason, and I'm going to retract the flaps to try and minimize this, when you're near the ground, it has this... Yeah. Oh, we lost a piece of the wing. Let's try again. And bear in mind, you're going to think this is propeller torque. The spin effect last time was in the opposite direction to the propeller. It is just like an aerodynamic stall that only happens at really low altitudes. It's something, maybe it's something ground effecty. I'm not really sure. If anyone knows why that is, do let me know, because it's a serious problem with this plane. And I've tried really hard to make this as stable as possible. But as you can see, when you're in normal flight, totally fine. It's just when you're in that ground effect that it's a little bit unusual. But here we are. We're flying, and as you can see, the propeller torque is doing next to nothing. Basically, that propeller is spinning towards our left wing, which is longer, and as you can actually see, we're slightly rolling to the right, so if anything, my counteraction to the torque is a little bit too strong. But yeah, we're pretty level, generally, at most speeds. So it's pretty acceptable here. Okay, so we were in a slight dive, and we seem to have stopped decelerating about here at 750. So we're going to call that our top speed, which I think is pretty respectable. Might be able to get a little bit more with some more tweaking of the propeller, but I think 750 isn't too bad, given that we do have to worry about our propeller on this thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. And as you can see, without any ordnance, it's pretty damn agile. We're pulling about 7.5 Gs here. And I say we have no ordnance. We actually do have this drop tank. So if I drop that, you can see even more Gs of pull. Yeah, it's pretty damn good at turning. So why don't we strap some ordnance to this thing, and let's see if we can take out a couple ground targets, maybe even a target drone, perhaps? We'll see. Okay, so we got a bit of a mixed loadout here. We've got 2 AIM-9s, we got 2 AGMs, and 2 Hydropods. So we're going to probably use the AGMs on some SAMs, use the Hydropods on some tanks, and the air-to-air missiles on some target drones. Okay, I think this target drone is actually going to come up in front of me here. So if I get this right, we might be able to just appear behind them and launch one off here. And I think it's F to fire just the missile. So hopefully we can actually press the right button here for once. And it should be crossing over in front of us any second now. There we go. It's above us. We are pretty slow. But if I get the nose up here, hopefully we get a lock. And, okay, it wasn't F. I'm just pressing space for it. Fired the 50 cals a little bit, but there goes one. Let's try a couple of SAM systems. And where have they spawned? 40 kilometers that way. What if we spawn tanks? Would they spawn over there as well? Nope, they've spawned 30 kilometers that way. Okay. Right. Give me a minute. Okay, we got a couple of incoming missiles from these SAM sites here. What I'm going to try and do is take a bit of a 90-degree and pop some flares here. I don't know how much that's going to work. We're just popping... Oh, it didn't work at all. Got so distracted by trying to change to chaff that I forgot to take evasive maneuvers. Yeah, pilot error there. Okay, we have an incoming projectile from this SAM, and hopefully this time we can actually avoid it. We're going to start by setting our flares to flares and chaff, just because I don't know if these are IR or if they are radar seeking. So we're going to take a dive here. We're going to pop a bit of flare and chaff already. And then we're going to have to pull some pretty hard maneuvers at about now, I reckon. And there we go. There's one well avoided. And that shouldn't be able to spin around and lock back onto us. We are actually getting a lock from this distance on the SAM. And I think it's only got 4 missiles. So that might be everything they've got there. Those two haven't got a good lock. I don't know if that one does either, to be honest. I don't think we're in any threat anymore, so let's continue to get a little bit closer, and then we'll launch this at about 15 kilometers, I want to say, because that should be well within the range of one of these AGMs. Okay, we got a lock here. We're going to launch it high, and hopefully it'll get a nice trajectory on that target there. So let's just pull off a little bit and let it do its work, because in theory that should be enough now to take that thing out. We just kind of have to watch it fly true now. These things do have a hell of a lot of range, so hopefully it's got enough range for that SAM. It does look like it's missing, but I've seen these things fly in before. They kind of arc in from above once they get close, so hopefully that's what we're doing here. It's getting close now. Getting close. We do have another one if that one happens to miss. I just want to make sure that we can watch it go in. And there we go. It's dropping its altitude. Going down. Going down. Any second now. It's pretty slow, but that looks like a good hit to me. I think we've got him. Yeah, baby. That is so satisfying to watch. Okay, right, let's try a little tank group here. Okay, I've spawned in a bunch. I can see a kind of group in this valley, so we're going to go for those. What I'm going to try and do is we're going to test the range on these AGMs, and we're going to get to about 25k, and then we're going to launch on this tank, and we're going to go in for Hydra attack on these two in the valley. So, AGM, do your thing. Best of luck, my good man. I don't know if you have 25k of range, but we're about to find out in a bit. Now, we are on to rocket pods, and we're going to be going in for these two guys in the valley, and hopefully we can take them out without too much trouble. Quite a lot of rudder wiggle here, so that's going to reduce our accuracy. I'm just going to drop our speed down to hopefully reduce that, because I need to do some work with the old fly-by-wire to correct that, but hopefully we should get an idea of about where we should be aiming with these things, and we look like we're actually aiming quite high. These are aimed a little bit upwards because of the curve of the wing, and there's one tank. Awesome. And just over here we have our second. Let's check to see if our AGM has found its target. No, it hasn't. We may have to deal with that ourselves here. But here is our second tank, and if we launch a few, I feel like this is a pretty good trajectory. There we go. 2 out of 2, and is the AGM gonna get to that tank? It looks like the answer is a no, because that looks like it is falling directly out of the sky now. So 25 kilometers is too far for one of those. Now, I reckon we could actually get this guy from about this range, to be fair. If we were really, really good with our rockets, we probably could. I mean, I feel like some of those... Oh, there we go. I was just about to say, I feel like some of those are pretty good. And then they landed true, baby. Mission complete. We're going to go land with a 100% successful trip. And that is probably the first time ever that I've said that. And it's been true. So, yeah, awesome. We're gonna drop these missiles, and I'll see you back at the airfield in a second. Oh, and while we're on the way back, I know it's not particularly impressive, but I have made a little effort on the internals here. As you can see, the dials are... What is going on out there? The dials are going a little bit haywire, because clearly I've not... Yeah, that's changing by meter, I think. So, yeah, that's not quite set up right. But, yeah, dials. It's a little bit of a bare bones interior, but look, I'm learning these things, okay? We'll get there eventually. And while we're flying back, why don't we just have a little bit of a look around of our aircraft here. I think it looks alright. These kind of planes always look a little bit funky because obviously they are a little bit funky and they're kind of built to be cheap-ish and fuel efficient, so you don't get a particularly graceful looking aircraft all the time. So I think it looks alright. Maybe not the most beautiful thing in the world, but I like it. I like it. Okay, we have quite the crosswind here, so we're going to have to be a little bit careful landing. And the whole stalling and ground effect thing is a concern for us landing. But hopefully that's not too bad. Just trying to keep the speed high enough that we don't stall here. And we're going in with mouse aim, because I think that's probably going to be the easiest here. We're at such a weird angle, but I think we are going pretty direct onto the runway here, if not a little bit too far to the right, to be honest. Weird feeling, honestly, flying like this, but I think it's what we're going to have to do to land in a 25km/h crosswind, because we don't have any runways with a headwind, which is what we'd really want. But here we go. Just gonna lower the throttle now and bring her down. Hopefully this is sufficient, and we feel like we're pretty central to the runway. Come on, get that nose up a little bit. Just flare up the nose. Drop the throttle. We've gone a little bit hard on that, and there's that weird stall. I cannot explain that. I really wish I could. That's not good. It's so weird. It's so strange. Why does it do this? I genuinely, I don't know if I can land this. It just has some really weird physics going on. I don't know if it's a bug or if that's an actual problem with the plane. If you know why that's happening, let me know. I really don't know. But if we look at this side of the plane, another safe landing to be proud of. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this plane, please leave a like, comment, and or subscribe. There is no propeller or any right wing, but other than that, if you've enjoyed this one, please leave a like, comment, and or subscribe, and I will see you in the future for more stuff like this. Goodbye! And as always, a huge thank you to this channel's patrons: and Broys, Badger, Chem135, Cody N, DigiPete's, Gavoon, Gunmaster99, Sad Catchers, Casual 267 Last Legend 11, Mark, Mildly Invested, Muck N Officially, Nicholas K, RMS Carpathia 1902, Rolls Bokken, Ryan Brody, the Kinesian Emperor Zerasheim, and Zeit Wolverine. Thank you so much for your support.